Hi, this is a video regarding Google Apps deployment. Basically, I'll be covering the key aspects of a deployment of Google Apps, such as, you know, domain verification and also the MX records. And at the end, I will have a quick look on SPF record or standard policy frame. And this is, this is just to make sure that everyone out there that is deploying Google Apps don't stall at the end of the day, right? It's Google Apps or Google. It's pretty standard, pretty not the easiest thing if you don't are not aware. However, you don't need to pay the big bucks to go out there and find someone to do it for you. You can just grab a YouTube video, have a quick look, do some research. There's plenty of information available. Google is pretty good on that. And I'm just gonna launch it through you. I'm gonna go through the process, and if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to drop me a comment on this video or at any point. I'll be glad to answer most of your questions. Okay. Anyway, so basically, at this stage, right? So we are in the first page of Google Apps for work, and let's give it a go on this. So we're gonna press get started, right? And basically, the information, by the way, that I'm gonna use is not real information. It's just for testing purpose, okay? So there you go. As you can see, this is the phone number I'm going to use because it's not a valid phone number anyway. However, I will also be purging this account, okay? So email address is info at my test domain. However, I'm going to use a subdomain within my test domain, okay? So we're going to use, what about Smith? Smith sounds like a good idea. So Smith will be and the business name will be Smith at your domain, and you will go to United States, where USA. There we go. And we're gonna use this number here. As I mentioned to you, this is not a valid number, by the way. Another thing here, so when you start your Google Apps for work, you do have two options, right? So you have your use your own domain. So if you're coming from a different system, imagine you're coming from GoDaddy, you're coming from Wix, Enom, other network solution, other providers, right? Or AWS, Office 365. You're most likely gonna bring your domain. If you have your exchange in Permis, you're most likely gonna bring your domain at the end of the day, right? So that's basically the way you work here. However, if you're new out there and you're starting your company, you're doing a deployment, you're freelancing, you're giving a go, and you want to see what's out there, you can also have the option to buy your new domain. Just a heads up, Google doesn't sell domains at the end of the day, right? So basically, they resell it, or in this case, they use third-party customers. In this case, providers. It basically that would be the right word. In this, most likely, Enom or GoDaddy. If you get lucky, and if you get lucky is a really good word on this one, you may end up being selected to use Google Apps, DNS management, and then you can be able to manage through Google. This was what I created before. It was under UR test, and there you go. And it's already in use, so maybe it was this. What I did use, it was test indeed. I have done tests before, so that's probably why it didn't show up. So we're gonna use email address test under and the password. By the way, I will also purge. Please do not email me at that. All right. So this is the password, the captcha here. I have read the terms. I'm doing the terms by head at the moment. Gonna prompt me to log in under test at test.ur-test.info. So test dot, as you can see that I have used it tests before. And let's see. Control panel for your Google Apps account, right? As you can see here, you do have a verified domain. So let's click on it. And let's begin verification. So we will prompt to recognize GoDaddy, since my provider will be GoDaddy in this case. So what I want you to do is, some providers are not listed here. Alright, how long you have the access to your DNS area, you really don't. You can just go with, for example, other. The string is still the same, exactly the same. So we just go copy the string, ensure that you don't have duplicated, right? In terms of space or it happens quite often. So here is this is the domain that I register, and don't forget it's a subdomain. So I will gonna have to go to DNS zone file. I'm gonna use the classic one because you have a lower TTL time for propagation. So and we will go here, quick add. So here the value will be this. However, as you guys remember, I create under a subdomain. Okay, so we're gonna have to go here and list it here under subdomain under test. If you guys add only using your primary domain, you can leave this blank or with the @ sign. All right, because I did use a subdomain, I have to put the subdomain listed there. So as you can see, 10 minutes. This is not possible on the new control panel of GoDaddy. So saves on file, okay. And what I recommend, since we're already here and because of propagation on their servers, I recommend to make the next changes. So the next changes is update your MX records to ensure that you do redirect your email to Google, right? So you go ahead and you purge both of those and you click quick add. So we're gonna follow the listing within this help center from Google where it show me the MX records, and you do have it here, right? However, okay, so you have all of them here. Okay, so you see priority 1, 5, and 10, TTL time. They refer 3,600 seconds. I will try to do as less as possible to minimize the impact, right? So let's start here. So this is gonna be and so a mix. So here dropped once again for the 10 minutes, and let's do here 5. Give me a second here. Used the wrong. I used the wrong guy. Shortcut. All right, let's restart here. Okay, so priority 1, the @ sign, and then here TTL once again 10 minutes. Priority 5, the @ sign. Sorry, I have a different language keyboard, and so sometimes this is the inconvenient in things like this. And therefore it's a little bit repetitive here. You do have to do all of them. However, very important. I would recommend always to enter the 5 that Google recommends, just to ensure if something happens, that I'll be honest with you, I think I saw it once, you will be able to, still get a traffic email of your email. Okay, so there we go, and 10 minutes of voila, saves on file. We're done. So now you have updated your MX records. You allowed your TXT to propagate and you enter your MX records. So if you go here, which you could just press verify, and voila, yeah, done also here. So you have your domain register, and you enter your MX records. Yeah, you do gonna have to allow the MX records propagation. You've dependent on the provider, not on Google on this stage. So what you can do is you can use a DNS lookup and see. So I'm a big fan of DNS apps toolbox. It does have most of the information that I need. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna query my domain and see if we do have MX records, and it's giving me internal. Why is it giving me internal? Let's try a different one. So this is another one, also public, and a great one, to be honest with you. Let's see. Still not there. As I mentioned to you, we just finished. We just did them now. Okay, so it's pretty normal that they're not there. It's saved. So while that propagates, what I would recommend as a final step, the initial deployment, is ensuring compliance. What do I mean by compliance? So compliance, I refer on authentication, right? Of course, you're already sending email through an authentication to SSL or TLS, depending what you want to set up. When you send it through your webmail or to, you go to Gmail, you log in through your account, you're using already an authentication. So that's the authentication required. However, some providers, and due to spoofing, they will verify the genuinity of your email. So what I recommend? I recommend initial. Since you're already here, why not do the final step? Inclusion of a sender policy frame. So sender policy frame recognizes which are the authenticated servers to send email in your behalf, right? So in this case here, you have v equal to SPF1 include spf.google.com. So this .google.com is the net blocks of Google, right? Because we're not able to list, the DNS do have limitations in the number of IPs that we'll be able to list it, or the IP ranges. You just do a general lookup on google.com, right? So if you go here and you create this, so basically since you're already here, you just go here, quick edit. Don't forget, once again, this is because I added as a subdomain, so I'm going to have to add test SPF record there, 10 minutes, saves on file, okay, and you're done, right? So a very small step, a very important way to authenticate your email on the recipient side, right? So now when you send email, you were giving me a heads up, hey, by the way, Google does send email in my behalf, and you can see it. So you can see it's already there. Propagation, fantastic, super fast in this particular part from GoDaddy. Let's see now how is our MX records, and we should also be there. Not yet there. Let's have a quick look here. I'm gonna do a quick refresh here, a hard refresh on the browser, just to have a quick look. Oh, it's still there. All right. So you're fully dependent on propagation, but there you go. Now you have your account created, verified, MX record propagating, and you also have an SPF record for checks for the recipient side. And at this stage is basically you're pretty much done. You did a fantastic job. This should take you 5 minutes or top. I will put this cool links here for you guys to have a look if you need. So this is the MX record value. You can change language if you see this in a different language. Google does cover most of the known language. Sender policy frame. This is the way to configure Google Apps policy frame. However, if you do have other applications that send in your behalf, I would recommend you maybe to dig a little bit more, because you may need to list it on your SPF record, or you may need to create a rule within your admin console advising give a heads up. Hey, by the way, if you see traffic incoming from this specific or IP or ranges of IP is also valid, you do have options here within Google Apps and Gmail that you can whitelist IP range, or or just an IP, or you can create even a domain spam bypassing. Okay, so my Firefox is not even answered anyway. So what I recommended here is be patient regarding the MX records. Is really not much you can do. You're solely dependent on your provider. Some providers are super fast, some providers takes a little bit longer. I'm not gonna deny it. Some of my favorite ones, it will be literally GoDaddy in terms of propagation. They are not even working very well at the moment, but normally it is super fast. I do like also HostGator. I have a massive amount of servers, proper servers for propagation. They're like some registers, not in this North America, but like in the likes of Australia, New Zealand, and even the UK, where they are very, very slow, and sometimes they do take the 24 hours as they state. But at the end of the day, is really not much you can do. When you create the MX records or TXT record, or they do give you a heads up. It could take up to 24 hours. So you're a little bit dependent on them and not on Google for this. However, this is pretty fast and standard procedure. You shouldn't have any problems, and my script even stop here, but you shouldn't have any problems. And if you do have any tips, heads up, or anything, just subscribe to my channel. I'll definitely try to provide as much as I have access, and tested with you guys. And this is my first video. I'm just covering up something that I found super amazing, and a great product, one of the best that I tested till now. I did test a couple other, but Google Apps have been the range of options in the inclusion of other another programs that they had, and now you're included in Google Apps, such as security, a product called Postini. Not everyone is fully aware of it, but and now they're integrating with Google. They're just making like very hard for the competition to keep up, right? So anyway, so just subscribe to the channel. Any questions, anything, give me a heads up. And anyway, have a great day. All right, you guys take care of yourself, and anything, just drop me an email.